Are you considering purchasing along 38? Stick around, this is the video for you. I'm going to go over the top 10 items that you need to consider prior to making your purchase right here along 38 in Florida. If you've never been to 38 or you've never even heard anybody talk to 38 and somehow you've stumbled across this video and you're like, what? Why is she even talking to me about 38? What's so special about 38 Florida? Well, let me tell you all the reasons. People absolutely love it here. And really, this area hasn't been around all that long. 38 was like nothing 20 years ago. It was just owned by all the mosquitoes. So it's really come a huge way if you look at it from where it was back then and where it is now. People are coming through all the time. We have so much tourism and a ton of locals too, and folks with second homes in this area because of a few things really. We've got the emerald waters, of course, of the Emerald Coast, which are amazing, are very close proximity to those same waters, the Gulf of Mexico. We've got amazing marine life here. We've got sharks and dolphins and stingrays and all kinds of amazing fishing opportunities right off of the coast. There's so much here. We've got the coastal dune lakes. We've got the dunes. All of these things just make it very kind of majestic and welcoming, but still laid back. You've got all these little neighborhoods right along 38, and they all have different personalities. So no matter what your personality is, there's something that's going to fit you right there. Also, if you're not really a beach person, maybe you're like the one out in your family and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I just want to spend the day at the beach. And you're like, I'd kind of rather do something else. There are so many parks along that way as well. We've got golf courses right here. You've got the dune lakes, so you can go and do some kayaking or paddleboarding, whatever it is that you like to do, some fishing over there, whatever it is that's not quite on the beach. We've also got hiking trails. We've got off-road areas right there over at Point Washington State Park. There's just so much to do right here. And then this is a huge area for investment because of all of these reasons, all of these people coming in to just visit and explore and have a great time. All of these people are bringing, well, their checkbooks with them. So it's a great place to invest. It's a great area where we've seen property prices increase over the years, year over year. Very safe bet in this area. In addition to all the reasons that it's a great place to visit, it's also got some of the most highly rated schools in our area. So the locals love it too. And there's always something going on. We've got all kinds of arts and, art galleries and culture and all this huge sense of community even. So I live right here in the area. And just last night, my daughter and I were over at the Big Chill watching the Jungle Book with everybody else. And we're all just chilling out there on our chairs or sitting in the grassy area. It was just so much fun. And there are events like this all the time. I mean, just about every single day out on 38, there's something that you can be doing with your kids, with your spouse. There's great and diverse dining availability here as well. You can go over to Pescados. You've got, farm to table type style. You've got Gulf to table type style food. So some of the freshest seafood that you can find around. Everything is here, whether you want to visit or you want to live here. All right, so let's get into those 10 items. Now that you know all the reasons that you actually want to be here on 38, let's go over the different things that you should consider before you actually pull out your checkbook. So the first thing that we're going to go over is location. I know the location is 38, but this is a 20-mile stretch. You've got quite a bit of area in between here from, the east and west limits. So quite a bit of difference depending on where you go. If you're right in the middle or you're off to one of the sides or, you're right along the coast. Something to consider is what are you going to be needing when you're here, whether you're going to be here full-time or part-time or not at all. If you're looking at this strictly as an investment property, then what do you need to be close to? If you're not working remotely and you need to be, getting over to Panama City Beach or getting over to Destin or up into, who knows where, if you need to be accessing I-10 very quickly, all of these things are going to have an impact on the location that you choose for yourself. Now, if you're able to work remotely completely, then, taking into consideration your place of work obviously isn't going to be a thing. But maybe school zones is, or maybe healthcare facilities are, or maybe you're at a point where you want to make sure that you're in a master development where you don't have to leave the subdivision during, the crazy times. You can have absolutely everything that you need right there at your fingertips all the time. All of these things we need to take into consideration to make sure that the property that you go under contract for is actually going to meet all of your goals. The second thing, and mind you, these are not in any kind of particular order of precedence. These are just the top 10 items, rank them however you will. But these are the top 10 things to absolutely go over prior to your purchase. So the next one that we're going to go to, the second item, is going to be the market conditions, right? So when we're looking at this, we're thinking, what has the property done, or what has the area done as far as, a financial standing in the past? What's it doing right now? And what are we anticipating it do in the future? This is really important to you, whether you're wanting this as an investment or this is like your physical bank account, like your physical savings account. Maybe it's something for your children, or this is just yours. You want to make sure that, value and appreciation are, something that is considered, because even if you don't plan on selling right now, someone's going to sell it in the future for you, or it's going to go down to your family. Eventually, it's going to have some sort of monetary value, whether you pay cash now or, you get out a mortgage, whatever it is. The value is important. It's something to just consider. So some things that I like to look at is, of course, like I said, what's the market done in that area? And then also what's up and coming in the area? What huge factors are going to play a role in this area's market? Is it going to bring values up? Is it going to decrease the values? What's going on in general? Now, of course, none of us has a crystal ball, right? But we are able to take certain things into consideration and formulate our own opinions, our own estimations, and take risks as we are comfortable with, right? I'm never going to spend your money for you. I want you to make an informed decision. I am here to give you all of that information and to advise you on what I expect to happen, but it is up to you to make the decision with all of that information and your own gut feeling and intuition as well. The third thing that I want us to take a look at for any type of property is the condition of the property and what is your expectation and your ability to purchase a property in specific condition. Do you want something that is turnkey, ready to go? Maybe it's even already furnished, so you have nothing to do but just buy it and it's good to go. Or do you want something that maybe you can add your own personal touches to? Or do you want something that's maybe, someone started building it and then they ran out of funds and you want to pick up where they left off and really put your spin on things? Do you want something that just needs some cosmetic touch-ups, maybe some paint here and there, something that's not going to be too cumbersome? All of these things are going to play a part in what we actually look at. If you are a family and you've got small kids running around and you're looking at this property to live in, you're probably not going to want a whole bunch of renovations going on around your kids and them breathing in, various dust particles and such. But if you're an individual investor, this is just strictly something that is going to make you money and you already have a crew that can come over here and make the repairs as necessary. Your, willingness to purchase something that might be kind of ugly is going to be a little bit different, right? So definitely something that we need to have a conversation about to decide, where are we on that level of, brand new, essentially. And that brings up another point. Regardless, whether you're purchasing brand new or a resale property, we do want to get an inspection done. I know you're thinking, well, they get inspections done on new builds. They do. However, it's their inspectors, right? You want your third-party inspector, because I have seen it time and time again. We're all humans. We all miss things occasionally. So it's really important to have specialists in each of the different lanes performing their required task, right? I'm not going to go in there and inspect a property. That's not what I'm here for. I'm going to miss something. But an inspector, he's going to go in there or she's going to go in there. They're going to know exactly what to look for. They're going to uncover any dirty, dark secrets, that the house might be hiding, something that we might not see, readily available with our eyes. So even if it's a brand new build, sometimes, it could just be a matter of it needs more insulation up in the roof, something like that. But it's very, very important to get those done. If it's a brand new build, then if you do it prior to closing, then the builder's going to take care of it for you for free anyway. So it behooves you to get it done. And then if it's a resale property, well, who knows what could have happened to it during, the various ownerships or various tenancies during the, existence or life of that property. So we highly recommend an inspection every single time you purchase. If you have any questions so far about anything that I've gone over, my name is AJ BEDDOUK, and I'm your local 30A real estate professional with the luxury division of the Emerald Group right here on 30A. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome, and thank you so much for showing up. It's great to have you guys here. Please hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you get notified every time I do another video. If this isn't your first time and you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you. It's good to have you guys back. Always happy to have more people viewing and calling. I've been getting calls, texts, and emails, and I absolutely love answering your questions and helping you guys to make informed decisions about your purchases right here on 30A. All right, let's jump right back into it. The fourth item on the list is going to be insurance. If you're coming to this area from a different state or somewhere that's not waterfront, then your insurance is probably a little bit easier and, I don't know, less convoluted than ours. We see insurance companies pull out of Florida all the time. All it takes is one solid hurricane to come in, wipe out an area, even if it's not our area. Because that insurance company takes such a hit, they're no longer making money in Florida, and so they just pick up and leave. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're at risk. They're still going to have to pay you if you have an issue. It just means that they're not going to do any more future business. They no longer see the value in working in Florida or providing that coverage in Florida because there's a higher probability for issues than, say, in some other, landlocked state. So what does that mean for you? It does mean potentially higher premiums, especially the closer that you get to the water, higher your premiums are going to be. If you're in a flood zone, then you're also going to require flood insurance, and that's going to cost you a bit more as well. If you're not required to have flood insurance and you purchase it anyways, which is always smart in my opinion, it's going to be significantly less of a premium, but it's still, it's going to be a yearly cost. So just something to consider whenever you're running your numbers on what things are going to cost you. Now, yes, we have hurricanes in our area. So we get them everywhere, everywhere in Florida. It's just the nature of the beast. You live in paradise. There's got to be some kind of balance to the universe, right? The good news is we really only see something devastating in our area like once every 15, 16 years, something like that. The majority of the time, the damage is going to be to the roof, to the fence. If you have a house on stilts, then anything that's in that stilts level, that's probably going to, be trashed. So there are a lot of things that you can expect and prepare for them and mitigate those risks really easily. There are these amazing shutters that I had on my house two houses ago. They're like accordions and they're metal. They're so easy. Once they're installed, you just push them open when they're not in use. And then if you think that you're going to have to go on an unexpected vacation for a little while, you just click them closed. There's a little key so you can lock them so they're not going to blow open if you get some crazy winds, and your house is going to be very, very well protected. These things are amazing. Highly recommend them. Great for their value. Going back to the hurricanes themselves and your preparedness for them, a lot of them you don't even have to leave. Many of them you can just kind of hang out, make sure you have some snacks, toilet paper, water, fill up the tubs and sinks with water so that you have something to bathe and drink with, make sure you have snacks, like I said, because if a road gets flooded or roads get taken out or there's no way to get past some blockages, you want to make sure you have food at the house. Electricity could go out. Make sure you have a full house generator or, some things that are battery operated so that you still have some, creature comforts during that time. Something that's great about dealing with hurricanes as opposed to, say, like tornadoes or earthquakes is that we tend to have quite a bit of notice. So we've got like a week when we first hear, hey, there's something brewing in the Gulf. It might be coming our way. All right, so we start kind of preparing the house for maybe we're going to stay. And then if we start getting a word that, hey, you know what, we're looking at maybe a Cat 3, probably going to be a little annoying. So maybe we want to take a couple day vacation to not deal with anything. And it's not even because we're scared that something's going to happen to us while we're inside the house. It's more like, I don't want to deal with no power. This is Florida. It's hot. It gets really humid really quickly. And without air conditioning, it's kind of annoying. And if you've got kids and you've got no air and you've got no way to entertain the kids for the most part, and you're kind of stuck in one area, it's just not a good time. It's a whole lot easier to just leave, go take a couple day vacation, wait for the dust to settle, and then come back, tend to anything that was an issue, right? All right, the fifth thing that we're going to consider is taxes, because this is, of course, going to affect your bottom line. Unless you're a veteran and 100% disabled, then you're not going to have to deal with property taxes in our area, which is amazing. Sorry that something happened to you. Thank you for your service. Here's a benefit for you, 0 property taxes, which is awesome. But if you're like me and you do have to pay your property taxes, then in Walton County, you're looking at a 0.42. How does that compare with the rest of the nation, though? Well, the average in the U.S. is 1.11. So we we are actually pretty low when you look at those property taxes and how they compare with the rest of the nation. And then go further to consider, we in Florida don't pay for a state income tax. So you're only going to pay your federal income tax here. So that means you are keeping even more of your money, which, when you're keeping more of your money, you're essentially spending less. So, this really helps you in your bottom line, whether you're looking to live here full time or if you're just purchasing an investment property. All of these go towards your numbers so that you know what you're going to be making or what you're going to be paying out, depending on, how you're looking at this property or how you're looking at this venture. Speaking of taxes, I highly encourage you to speak with a tax professional whenever you're considering purchasing a property. It doesn't matter if this is going to be your primary, your secondary, or an investment. And I would absolutely love to jump on a Zoom call, a conference call, or utilize our conference room right here in the office to sit down with you and your tax professional to see the best way forward for you for purchasing real estate to make sure that you're not paying more taxes than you need to. There are so many different ways out there for you to maintain more of your money, and instead of spending it towards taxes, spend it towards business assets or, something that's going to make your life easier in business. So at least those funds, yes, they're still gone, but they could be reinvested to something that's going to help you make even more. This is helpful both for when you're purchasing and then also for if you're considering renting a property out. Whether you're going to purchase the property and live in it and rent out a couple of rooms while you're there, or if you're going to purchase it specifically as an investment property and just leave it to the tenants, the entire time. However you're going to do it, I can help you with the purchase process, but it's always great to have that tax advisor in the room as well so they can help you with how to structure everything. If you have any questions about this or you're considering this type of move right now, I'm going to go ahead and put all my contact information up on the screen. You are welcome to contact me via phone, email, or, social media messages. I tend to get a lot of those. It always surprises me when someone hits me up on social media from YouTube, but hey, I like it. I always have my phone on me. So whichever way you decide to reach out, I should see it pretty quickly. The sixth topic I'm going to go over is HOAs. Love them or hate them, they have their place, right? They're either helping to maintain the area so everybody's houses look really good, or they are helping to maintain the various amenities that are present, right? So why am I bringing up HOAs? So the more amenities and the more services that an HOA provides, obviously, the higher the amount is going to be, whether that's monthly, quarterly, yearly, semi-annually, however they're going to collect those dues. We need to know what those numbers look like, and historically, how much have they gone up each year so that you can kind of have an idea of how much they're going to continue to go up if there's kind of a pattern of that increase year over year. And what does that mean for you and your property and what you're able to do with it? Because if you are looking to short-term rent out your property, we need to make sure it's going to be permitted by the HOA, because you're going to have a really bad day if you try purchasing this as an investment property for a short-term rental only to find out that the HOA does not permit them. On the opposite hand, if you're wanting to live there full time, then you might not want to be next door to a bunch of short-term renters. I can tell you from experience, sometimes that's not the best situation. For me, I have a young daughter and we have short-term renters all around us. We thought that the neighborhood was going to be pretty stable, but a lot of folks saw the benefit to short-term renting, and I'm not hating on them, but having so many new people in and out of the neighborhood all the time, it's, not what I was hoping for, not with a small child. So it's definitely something to know before you get into it. Don't get it twisted. I did know before I went into it, but it's such a small neighborhood and I knew everybody, things changed. And speaking of short-term rentals, we're going to go into rental projections. This is the seventh item that we're going to talk about, because whether you're purchasing this as a primary residence or a rental, sometimes things change. You might think that you're going to purchase it as a primary residence, and then you see how beneficial it can be and how profitable it can be to rent it out, like what happened in my neighborhood. Or you could be renting it out and then maybe you stay there for a week and you're like, wow, why don't I just live here? So things can change. But that's something to consider along 38 as well before a purchase, is which one's going to have some great rental income. Different items are going to impact the rental revenue of a property. We're talking proximity to the beaches, how walkable is it, what kind of amenities are there, is there an incredible view? All of these things are going to have an impact on that rental income. But then also, what about the rate at which the property is going to increase in value? What's going on around that property? How much equity can we anticipate having in the property, in the short-term future? All of these things all raise your net worth. So definitely important to consider those. if you have any questions, maybe you've been eyeballing a couple of properties on 30A, go ahead and reach out to me. I do have a tool that helps me to project your rental income, and that will help me to determine how much you can expect to have year over year, both with, all of your costs included or without, just based off of simple rental projection numbers, incorporating if someone else were handling it for you, at what rate or not. So all of my contact information is on the screen. If you have one or multiple properties that you've been looking at or considering and you want to know what do those numbers look like for you, just send them to me. I'll let you know. The eighth item that we're going to go over is, what about new developments in the area? One, because you might be interested in a new build, and some of them allow short-term rentals. So, we have quite a few options there as far as, are there some with and are there some without? There's something for everybody on 30A, I'm telling you. But we want to know, how much is the land basically being developed in which areas, so we know where is the land going to be more valuable. Maybe you want to purchase a piece of land and kind of hold on to it for a minute and watch as those values continue to increase. There's a lot to be said for, giant plots of land being purchased and then sold off with new builds. So something to keep an eye on. The ninth thing that we're going to go over is safety. Everyone wants to be safe, whether you're living somewhere, whether you're solo, whether you have children, whether you're a tenant. Everyone wants to know that wherever they are safe, right? It's a very common desire, right? And an entitled one. So our area, thank God, is very, very safe. 30A is wonderful. We don't see a whole lot of drama here. Usually if there's drama, it's traffic related. And I hate to say it, but really pedestrians, you gotta watch where you're going. A lot of it is gonna be, people are texting and driving. They don't know where they're at. They're trying to look at their GPS and text their buddies that they're on their way and keep an eye on the road, but there are pedestrians all over the place. So it becomes a dangerous area from that aspect. But there are so many crosswalks. And all you have to do is just stay within those crosswalks, push the button, see the light, good to go. Pay attention to the road. Don't be texting and driving, posting on social media, great selfies on 30A while you're driving. Don't encourage that. 0 out of 10, don't recommend. So a lot of the things that we see, like I said, are going to be traffic related. Golf carts where they're not supposed to be, slowing down traffic, irate drivers, intoxicated drivers. So you're seeing a kind of trend here. Any of the dangerous stuff for the most part is going to be traffic related, and not so much, dangerous crimes of people, with guns or knives or anything like that. Although every once in a while we do see kind of a younger tourist in the area, maybe having too much to drink out on the beach and then getting into some havoc. It does happen, but for the most part, it's a very safe area. Other safety issues to consider are the wildlife, right? So we do have sharks and dolphins and stingrays and such, like I said earlier, and sea turtles, which are amazing. And the thing is, they're out there, right? This is their territory. Once it's wet, it's theirs. So we have to keep that in consideration whenever we're going and entering into their world. However, in our area, I guess they're kind of friendly because the sharks always seem to be around and we never seem to have any issues with them, which is amazing. So if you respect the wildlife here in our waters, chances are they're going to respect you, and we can just admire them from afar and just enjoy getting to see them, or see them, in their space, in close proximity to us even. We had some whale sharks just here last week, actually, in our area, which, if you've never been to the Atlanta Aquarium, highly recommend that you go. I went and I swam with the whale sharks over there. Amazing. Just amazing. Highly recommend that you do it there, not necessarily, in the Gulf. They're probably not quite so used to humans swimming next to them. I don't know. Don't recommend it, but you can watch them from a boat. The 10th and last item on our list of things to consider whenever you're purchasing along 38 is financing, right? So there are a couple of different ways to do this. If you're purchasing for your primary, you've got jumbo loans, you've got your VA loans, you've got regular conventional. But if you're purchasing for an investment, then we start looking at things like DSCR loans and 1031 exchanges. Absolutely, once again, get your tax advisor involved in this process to see which way makes the most financial sense for you, both now and in the future. Because like I said, maybe you're going to want to leave the property to some family members, or, maybe you want to help build credit for someone else. There are so many implications. It's really great if you can get your local real estate agent, your tax professional, and your lender all involved in the process at the same time. And prior to getting too far into this, situation, this This way, whenever you purchase, you can purchase with confidence that you are making the best decision on every front. Just for a brief overview, if you haven't heard of a DSCR loan before, this is essentially going to allow you to purchase a property based off of its projected rental income as opposed to your personal income. So this allows you to continue purchasing more and more investment properties without having to take your income into consideration. So that means as long as you have the down payment and the reserves, you're able to continue purchasing properties and continue to expand your portfolio. This is great whenever you're trying to, once again, remove your tax liabilities and instead incorporate additional business assets in your portfolio. Again, if you have any questions about any of this, all my contact information is on the screen. Please don't forget, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and also give me a thumbs up at the bottom of this video if you're still here, because clearly you found something that was beneficial. I will see you guys at the next one. Bye.